Hi Clayton, how's it going? I thought I'd try something a little bit different and would put together a piece of video that might help us approach the task that we've been talking about. I think about integrating new people into the team on various sort of degrees of engagement and involvement. So let's take a look and see if this gives us a bit of a map to work with. Thanks so much indeed. Okay, so let's take a look. What I've got here is literally on the kitchen table. I've tried to really to capture what we've done in terms of talking as a team about our ethos, and then how that might leave us in a position to source the values, ethos, and behaviours of the team, and then to consider how we can maybe move this into a package, a development package for people who are joining the team. And what we're looking at here is that on the collaborative side, the highly collaborative side of the piece of work, we can see how we've grown two particular aspects of our story: um, the the picture story, the one that we did about the present reality, and our future picture story. There's that's been refined out of the idea that we do tell a team story here, and the challenge is how do we communicate it to other people. Something that we've touched on in the past but haven't really visited is, can we get this down into a 6-word story that captures the essence of what we do? And that might be a useful exercise for us to consider. You remember when we put the present and future stories together, we talked about 3 potential audiences, or stories who we tell them to, the stories that we tell to absolutely everyone, and we're very comfortable with that. The ones that we keep sort of with friends and family, people who are close to us, and then the ones, they are internal stories and one that we only tell ourselves and ourselves only. And I wanted to think a little bit about the unknowns about that as well, because what we don't know are the stories that are told about us, and what are we aware of, what can we guess, what are the ones that we aren't aware of, and will never be aware of, and can we sort of take some control over that by thinking about who are the story's authors and who are their potential audiences. And it's not really an attempt to be on message or doing a dreadful term all the time, but I think it's really about having a sense of confidence in how we talk about who we are and how we transmit that information across a variety of audiences. And then after that, what comes out of that, what's let go out of that, is really down to the recipient and the transmitter rather than to ourselves. I hope that's clear. It sounds a bit clumsy. One of the things I've never been in doubt of with the creative innovation team is the strength of its values, ethos, and beliefs. And probably need to ask ourselves, is it the values, ethos, and beliefs that feed the story, or is it the other way around, the story that feeds the value, ethos, and belief, or is there a sort of relationship between the two where they actually nurture each other, and if so, what is it? And that really brings me into quite a sensitive area, I suppose, about how we manage growth, and how that growth is managed, bearing in mind that not everyone may feel that they are flourishing, and there are at least 3 levels of flourishing I'm talking about here, possibly a 4th if we consider the wider environment outside of the university. But the 3 that I've thought of are the university, the team, and personal flourishing. And what I think we need to be looking at is setting up not only an induction program or an introductory program, but a series of processes that allow us to visit this from time to time, give ourselves a bit of a health check, see how we're going, see how this fits in with the broader part of our story. And here, Clayton, just closing in on that question: what is the relationship between managed growth and growth that's the product of a flourishing team? And how do we capture that? How do we talk about it? And how do we use that as a way of spreading our team ethos both within the team and beyond? So we may want to take a look at how we can use this opportunity, how we can use this challenge to pull together some welcome activities. And you can see there I'm thinking of using the values in action profile and feedback, and formalise that so that there's a session where people do the profile and I can then run a feedback session with them. Which reminds me, we need to have a conversation. Um, I'm also thinking about a piece of mini research, action research about maybe their role or their projected role within the team, and how that could interface with other areas of the organisation. I think that's something we could talk about quite productively, and also thinking about using an appreciative inquiry led interview approach, where we're capturing strength areas and seeing if we can build this together into a wider picture of ambitions and goals and contributions they can make within the creative innovation and STEAM lab team. Okay, so thanks very much indeed. I hope that's been helpful in giving us a bit of context in which we might be able to take some discussions forward, and I look forward to talking to you about it in the very near future. Thanks very much. Bye now.